Good afternoon, how are you? So, as I was growing up in South Central Los Angeles, my father used to tell me this story. And he kept telling me this story all the way until he died in 2007. Maybe he forgot that he told me the story, but he just kept telling me over and over. The story went like this. He said, "Son, I want to tell you about this boy who went walking with his father one day. And as they were walking, they stumbled across a house. And at this house, there was an older gentleman sitting in a chair, and right down by his feet was his dog." I said, "Wow, okay, that's interesting." He said, "But son, the dog was making funny noises." I said, "What kind of noises was he making?" "He was howling and moaning and groaning and sort of like unhappy." And I said, "Why? Was the surroundings bad?" He goes, No, he had great surroundings. He had water and had food, and he was well groomed, but he was just complaining." Is anyone in this room who knows someone, because I know it's not you, who has good surroundings, groomed well, but they still complain and moan and groan? Hands up if you know some people like that. Anyone around you like that? Right, okay. So it's like this dog. So the little boy, curious as he was, said, so listen, Daddy, why is the dog making all these noises? And he said, "Well, ask the owner." So the boy said to the owner, "Excuse me, sir, but what's wrong with your dog?" And the owner said, "Oh, that's simple. The dog is simply sitting on a nail. He's sitting on a nail." So you know what the boy said? He said, "Why doesn't the dog get off the nail?" And the owner simply said calmly, "Because it's not hurting enough yet." Because it's not hurting enough yet. So Brisbane, how many people in this room are sitting on some kind of a nail? Hands up. Let's talk about some of these nails. Anyone sitting on a health nail? Health issues. Anybody sitting on a relationship nail? Hands up. Let's talk about it. Anybody sitting on a business nail? Hands up. Anybody sitting on a self-confidence nail? Hands up. Anyone sitting on just a lack of action nail? Put your hands up. Okay, so if we talk about that, then we are sitting on nails. So I was walking with my father sort of before he died. I had him in a wheelchair, and I was asking him questions about his life, and I said, "What kept you going?" And he said, "Son, simply because I had a why." Because I had a why. And I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you right now. Take 1 minute. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and see, can you connect with your why? Because if your why doesn't give you some goosebumps, if you're not emotionally charged up, then guess what? You're going to stumble, and you're going to moan and groan and complain, and at the end of the day, you're not going to get the stuff done that needs to be done for you to be successful in life. Your why has got to be powerful. Your why has got to be so strong that when you get up, no one needs to tell you what you need to do. No one has to push you or prod you. Your why has got to be so powerful that it is you. That is your why. See, I have a why. You can open your eyes now. I have a why. And my why started basically when I was 14. Because at 14 years of age, I came home from school and we had no power. We had no electricity whatsoever. And I walked into the house and my mother said to me, "Son, I'm sorry, you're going to have a cold dinner." And I looked at her and I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, because your father he can't pay the bills." So she said, "Go and talk to your dad." And I went and talked to him, and guess what he said to me? He said, "Son," he said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've let you down." And then he said this. He said, "That's why I push you to go to school. He said, that's why I get up every morning and I go out and get the best jobs that I can. He said, that's why I'm always in your face about taking care of business. He said, that's why I'm telling you to take care of yourself. Because one day, son, you will have to take care of me and your mother when we get old. That's big for a 14-year-old, right? For a 14-year-old, what did I have to do? I had to take responsibilities for my future by doing what? Acting when? In the present. I could not afford from that point onwards to go and just go through the motions. I couldn't afford to just make excuses. Why? Because I had parents that I knew one day I was going to have to be there for, step up to the plate. So from that point onwards, there was urgency. My life was deliberate. I couldn't afford to say next week, next month, next year. Because you know what? It's not promised. Because all we have is what? What we have right now. Anybody in this room have children? If you have children, then guess what? You better have a big why, because I go to schools a lot. There's a lot of stuff out there in schools. There's a lot of issues out there in schools. Your why needs to be, you know what? I'm going to make sure that my children have the best life possible. Those people in this room who've got some health challenges, guess what you have to do? You got to hit the gym. You got to eat right. You got to watch what you put in your body. You got to have some supplements. You got to do some things that maybe you haven't been doing before. Why? Because if you have a why, guess what? If you don't have good health, you will not have good wealth or anything else. Your why is your vision. I want to show you what my why is. Daniel, can you play that, please?
This is a true story. I know that because it's mine. And I've traveled around the world telling over 2 million people this exact same story. You know the one, the typical, I was abandoned as a baby by my parents and then given up for adoption. What wasn't so typical was what was about to happen next. I was saved by Joe and Mary Bailey, who are and will always be considered my real parents. Maybe not my blood, but by everything else that means anything to anybody. By the age of 12, I was already over 6 feet tall. It would eventually allow me to escape the poverty, the drugs, and the hopelessness on the streets of South Central Los Angeles. By playing basketball, what I consider to be the greatest sport on the planet. In time, my wife and I would move to Australia, where I became the first foreign import and played for the Hobart Tassie Devils. But after 9 knee operations, I finally decided it was time to retire from the game that I love so much. So I embarked on a new adventure, providing hope and inspiration to those who sometimes need a little guidance in finding it.
So check this out. When I was about 10 years of age, my father took me to a baseball game. Anybody ever seen baseball before? All right, it's not like cricket where you stand there all day and play and nobody wins. That's okay. He looked at him and said, "Tommy, don't touch him. He's black." You see, the reason why I'm telling you this is because each and every one of you, when you continue to get older and older and older, you're going to run into people who are going to judge you. People are going to say nasty things to you. People are going to look at you and assume things. And the thing I want to say to each and every one of you, you must believe in yourself. You must look in the mirror every day and say, irrespective of the color of my skin, what school I go to, how tall I am, how short I am, how much hair, how much don't hair I have, you have to believe that you are special and you're worth fighting for. And here comes my father. My father, 6'10". He was sitting next to me. I was like, yo, Dad, you hear what he said to me, man? Go and punch this guy in the head, man. So my dad looked at Tommy's father and said, you don't see the goodness in my son, but I do. And one day, you will look at people of color, and you won't judge them by the skin color, you will judge them by what's in here. Never give up, never quit, keep fighting. My life has always been about being the best that I can be. My life has never been based on money, fame, power. My life is really about empowerment. I live in Brisbane. I've been an Australian citizen since 1987. I came to Australia in 1982, a young boy of 21 years of age. But as my life started to evolve, so did my mindset. I'm standing on this stage right now because Jamie McIntyre gave me a shot. He gave me an opportunity. When many people said I wasn't qualified, when many people said, oh, you're just a basketball player. But you know what I've got? Passion. I've got a desire. I've got a need. I've got a need to see other people elevate their life. How many people in this room truly know that you're not living to the level of where you should be? Please put your hands up. Then I want to know why not. Because you guys, we all live in the greatest planet on the greatest country on the planet. We are, this is it, man. I'm telling you, this is. But yet and still, how many, okay, let's forget about what I said about do you know someone else who's moaning, groaning, whinging, and complaining? Let's just break it down. You, what's your name, man? Brent. When's the last time you complained?
Today.
There you go. How many other people have complained about something today? Who's moaned and groaned today? Who's been around some negative people today? Who's had some negative thoughts today? Exactly. I want to tell you right now is that once you change this, then you can change that. Once you can control this, you can control this. Once you can control this, you can control this. Now I know a lot of you have bought programs and strategies and signed up for stuff, and that's cool, that's awesome. But seriously, let me ask you, when things get tough, what's going to keep you focused and connected to keep doing that? It has to be the why. It's got to be the why. Because if your why's not strong, you will hit an obstacle, you will hit a challenge, you will hit the negativity from somebody, and guess what you're going to do? You're going to doubt yourself, and you're going to doubt yourself for so long that in the end, you won't do any of it. I played professional basketball for 14 years. Started off in America with the Portland Trail Blazers. Played against the greatest, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley. Played against the greatest NBA players on the planet. Didn't last in the NBA because I just wasn't good enough. And I can remember my coach, when he cut me, he actually told me, he says, you're not good enough to be in the NBA. I said, so what should I do? Guess what he told me? Retire. I said, why is that? He said, because I don't think you have it in you. Wow. But I was strong. I kept working out, hoping that somebody would call me and say, okay, I want to give you a shot. Why? Because my why was strong. I can't let one person take me out of my journey. How many people in this room have been talked out of doing something they know they can do? Hands up. Who's been kicked to the curb and you felt like, wow, I'm down and out, and stayed down for a long time and let life and opportunities pass you by? But then it happened. Because I kept going, I opened my mind. I started making some phone calls. Then I got this call in the middle of the night. It was a strange call. It said, good day, mate, how you going? I'm in South Central Los Angeles. I'm saying, mate, I'm not your mate. So I hung the phone up. I don't roll like that right now. You know what I'm saying? Called back 20 minutes ago and he says, hey, listen, I'm calling from Australia. I said, where is that? 1982, don't know much about Australia, from LA. He said, listen, I'm calling from the best state in all of Australia. I said, where is that? He said, Tasmania. I said, what's so great about Tasmania? He said, it's just like Hawaii. I said, Hawaii, wow, I know Hawaii. So I came to Hawaii of Australia. How many of you guys know that Tasmania is nothing like Hawaii? Hands up. So here I was in Tasmania, and I was like, whoa, man, these people are weird. However, they paid me. They paid me to bounce a ball. Wow. And for 14 years, I kept bouncing. I bounced from Tasmania to Melbourne, where I played with the Melbourne Tigers. And then I bounced up to the Gold Coast and played with the Gold Coast Rollers. And during that time, I did what I was born to do. I was born to be the best that I could be. And that's why I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you not to live somebody else's dream. I want to challenge you not to try to step in somebody else's footsteps or live up to their expectations, because it's too tough. You put too much pressure on yourself. Live for what's in you. That's what it's about. In business, in life, in relationships, in health, it's all about doing the best that you can do. So what have I done since finishing up playing professional basketball? Well, I've gone on to run a successful global coaching business, speaking business, do a lot of work with young people, travel. I have an online business. I'm enjoying life, travel. But you know what I like the most is when I'm working with someone and they tell me where they are in their life right now. And in 6 weeks or 12 weeks or 3 months, they call and I meet with them and they say, this is what I've accomplished. They've done it. I learned that. I learned that when you have the power to help someone or transform someone else, your life will also be transformed and you will be empowered. And I learned that from my basketball coach. 14 years of age, I joined the basketball team, and he simply said, son, you're the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because he was little. And he asked me, he says, do you want to join the team? I says, well, what does that consist of? He said, you have to commit. Please write this word down right now. If there's no commitment, then there's no results. No commitment, no results. I was 14 years of age, and I asked him what kind of commitment would I need to make. He said, you need to come to school every morning at 5 a.m. and practice. I said, you got to be on drugs, coach. 5 a.m. He says, yes, 5 a.m. And then I said, listen, I think it's too much. And he asked me a question. He said, close your eyes, tell me what you see about your life, and if you continue doing what you're doing right now, what will you be looking at 5 or 10 years from now? He said, visualize that. Well, Brisbane, for those of you who have goals and dreams and aspirations, close your eyes right now. Just go ahead and close them. If you continue doing what you're doing right now and have the same mindset that you have right now, and you continue acting and still living and eating and doing all the stuff that you're doing right now, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe 3 years from now, will you have the ideal picture of yourself and your life? How many people in this room are looking at that picture and going, whoa, I'm not happy? Put your hands up. Who's not happy with that life? Okay, then guess what? You have something that a lot of people don't have. So there's a lot of people who have died. There's a lot of people in prison, in jails. And guess what? Some of those people never getting out of jail, those people in the ground, they're never going to be able to have what? An opportunity that you have now. So what is the single most factor for you continually to stay where you are right now instead of making improved growth in your life? You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. You. That's it. It's you. Not me. Because I don't know you yet. I know that the potential inside each and every one of us, unmatched, unlimited, off the chain. However, we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we have inside of us. And we certainly don't take advantage of all the opportunities that are presented to us every day. So here's the question. What will it take for you to get off the nail? What will it take for you to start taking one foot, putting it in front of the others, and not looking back, not being held by previous circumstances? What is it going to take? Where would you like to see yourself in 3 or 4 years from now? You see, that picture needs to be here, and then also here. Because the legs, the arms, they will have to get you there. Your heart, you'll have to harness it in here. Your mind will help you create it. And then you probably need one more thing. You probably need someone in your corner, or someone who has been where you are, or someone who knows what it takes to stay focused and to have vision and to never quit and to keep going. You see, I'm pretty blessed, fortunate to be able to have a couple people in my life who didn't give up on me. You see, my biological parents, they gave up on me because they looked at me and they judged me. They judged me, then they listened to the advice of the doctors who said he won't make it. So then they signed me over to the state of California. So my first coaches weren't very good. But my high school basketball coach, that's different. He wasn't even my color. He wasn't even my height. But he looked at me and he said, I see potential. And he said, I will work with you. And I said, no, you won't. Because I didn't think he could understand where I was from. Because where he lived, he had everything he wanted. Until one day he actually put me in his car after practice one night and drove me into South Central Los Angeles in his brand new BMW. He was an idiot. And as he was driving his car into South Central Los Angeles, I could see the look on his face. He was looking around. He was like, whoa, okay. His fingernails started just digging into the steering wheel. He started shaking, and we got to some lights. And as he was sitting there, he looked at me, and on the side of the road was the welcoming committee. The brothers. And they was looking at his car, and he was like, why are they looking at my car? I said, because they want it. He said, what should I do? I said, listen, you just better drive. He says, but no, It's a red light. I said, it doesn't matter. He goes, no, I don't want to break the law. I said, break the law or you die. But he was a law-abiding citizen, so he stood there. I said, okay. So they came and they tried to take the wheels off the car. The car was shaking. Finally, he drove, and he kept driving. He wouldn't speak. He started crying. He was red. And as soon as we got to my house, he pulled up. He stopped the car, and I looked at him, and I was like, okay, that's it. He'll never drive me again. And I went to shake his hand, and he wouldn't let go of my hand. And when he looked at me, I said, this is it, huh? And he looked at me and he said, it's just the beginning. I said, what do you mean? He said, I will drive you home every single night until you graduate. He said, but you have to do one thing. And I said, what's that? He said, you have to give me 100%. Year 12, graduation night, I walked up on the stage. My father, 6'10", my mother, 5'2". I know, that ain't legal, huh? And my coach sat right there, and all three of them cried the whole ceremony. And when I walked down from the stage, my coach walked over to me and he said, I always knew that this day would come. And I said to him, one day, I want to do for other people what you have done for me. So when we talk about what I do it because some people along the way gave me more than what was expected. But the only way it was going to work was that I had to buy in and give all that I had. So yes, I'm a performance coach, and I help people to find their why, and I hold them accountable, and I make sure that, you know what, I don't accept their excuses. As I'm looking around the room now, I've got maybe 3 or 4 of my students who I've been working with in the room, and I've got Heidi, who just happened to be in the front row. Heidi, can you just come up? Can I get the mic, please? Quick. You're younger. Run faster, man. I've got one of my students, and I just would like Heidi just to speak for 2 minutes and just talk about the program and what you've got out of it. 3 minutes, okay? 3 minutes. That's it. That's all you got.
Okay, I want to turn around so I can see everybody and not look at Eric. He makes me nervous. Okay, so I met Eric at the last 21st Century event, the 4-day Education for Life in Melbourne. I think it was April or May, so a few months now. I guess I was going through some life-changing experiences which brought me to the actual event, and as we've seen today, Eric was the MC and he did an incredible job. And then he got up and started talking about nails and dogs and whys. And then he was saying, you know, after the breakout sessions, people can come and they can sit down and they can talk about their whys and what they're trying to achieve, and he was going to help them make a plan to get there. And I sat there and I thought, I don't need to talk to him. I've got no issues. You know, I thought I was pretty confident and life was good. And as the day kept going, I started to think, well, hang on, I'm not doing this. Why am I not doing this? And I took the time to sit down and talk to him. And I did about 15 minutes mental preparation. And as all good women do, we can talk, right? So I said, can I get like half an hour? And he says, no, they're 15-minute discussions. So I went, okay, all right, 15 minutes. So I sat down with him and I thought, well, the only way I'm going to be able to take any action is to be completely and utterly honest with the man. So that's what I did. I just went blurt and just sort of spread everything out, just how it was. And what I got back from Eric was his honesty. And so he was completely honest with me. And that made me uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. Made me go away and start to think about taking action and creating change, because we all know we get different life experiences, and sometimes our perception makes us feel like they're bad and we're just going to lay down and die and not do anything about it and just whinge and moan, or we can get up and actually try and do something about it. So with Eric's support as a coach, he helped me get up and actually do something about it, which was incredible. So not only did I take that away from the last seminar, I'm giving Jamie a plug now, Eric, sorry, but the things that I actually set out to do from that last seminar with Eric's support, I've actually done 75% of it and just completed the other 15% this weekend. So I was really happy with that. So in 3 months, I set out to achieve what I needed to financially. Emotionally, going through Eric's program has helped me to make a lot more emotionally intelligent decisions, not just financially, because if we just go ahead and make financial decisions without having the right mindset, then it's really no point at all, like everyone's been talking about today. And I've got 2 kids, and just the effect of Eric's program, can I keep talking? The effect of Eric's program, it's filtered through to my children. So they're even creating little action plans and they're taking up every opportunity. So without me even realizing it, the changes that I'm making in my life, and it's been hard, it hasn't been easy. And, like I send him random text messages and he's like, just stop it. What are you doing? It makes you feel awful, but, you need it sometimes. And so it's affected my children. And so now they're watching me and what I'm going through, and they're taking positive steps to help change their future too. Yeah, can I keep going? I got lots to say.
Thank you, Heidi. We did work. We're good. So we did work on her exuberance to talk as well. So obviously I failed in that department, but we'll keep going. So basically, here's what I want to offer. Is there anyone in this room right now who feels that they could use a coach? Anybody? Hands up. Hands up if you think you can use a coach. Okay. So this is my offer. No intricate slides. No different types of offers and all that stuff. This is what it is. I offer 2 programs. Everybody say 2 programs? I offer 2 programs. The first program is a 12-week intensive CD and 3 hours one-on-one program, okay? I want you to write this down. Write it down so you can see it, okay? You get 12 CDs. Each CD correlates with a chapter in a workbook that you will get as well. Workbook and a CD. Each week covers a particular chapter. Personality. We do a personality profile. Psychology. We also do a week on physical exercise and health. How many people in this room are interested in their health? We do one section purely on health where I talk to you and help you get involved in a gym or get you back to eating right or supplements or whatever. Also have a personal trainer who also works on that side. We also have a section a week just on passive income, okay? The last chapter is one of my best chapters, which is called Pay It Forward. The Pay It Forward is about what are you doing to help someone else or your community, all right? So 12 weeks, workbook, and then you get 3 hours with me. How many people, anybody here live in Brisbane? So here's my next question. How many people in this room are serious about the goals and aspirations and dreams that they have in their life? Anybody? Second question is, how many people in this room would seriously like to be in one of those programs? Anybody? Hands up. Okay, if you've just put your hand up, then right now, if you want to sign up for either one of those programs, just go to the back of the room right now and sign up. Take action now.